I got a taste of the next-gen Xbox experience, and here's how you can too. What is up, y'all? I'm Ray, and this is my channel, Xbox Ready, where we get on and we talk about Xbox stuff, the latest news, rumors, games, accessories, pretty much anything I want to talk about as long as it's about Xbox in some way. But first, a word from our sponsor. This video is brought to you by Manscaped. That is right, I am once again teaming up with Manscaped to make sure that your dad doesn't get a boring Father's Day gift this year. Instead of giving him a shirt or a polo he's probably gonna return, or another mug, how about giving him something that he's actually gonna use? Something that will help him elevate his grooming game, help him feel his best. Something like the Chairman Pro from Manscaped. The Chairman Pro is an electric foil shaver that can tackle any job that you throw at it. You can change out the blade heads depending on how close you want your shave to be, or if you want to keep a little bit of that stubble. My dad, in his older years, he's rocking the goatee, so he can use the foil blade to make sure that his cheeks, his neckline is nice and clean, and then switch over to the stubble blade to manage his goatee. It operates on a pivot, so it gets the contours from your neck and your jawline. It's waterproof, so no matter where you shave, you can get the job done. And it has up to 75 minutes of runtime on a single charge. So if you want to pick up a Chairman Pro for your dad or for yourself, you can go on over to manscaped.com and use my code XboxReady for 15% off of your entire order. Thanks again to Manscaped for sponsoring this video. Now, there's been a lot of buzz about Xbox lately. Good buzz, which is a welcome change. They finally got moving on their first party output, Game Pass is cooking, and that's all before their big June showcase coming up this weekend. And amongst all of that chatter, there have been all sorts of rumors about the next generation Xbox consoles. I know I've done a lot of talking about the next gen Xboxes lately, especially. And from all of those videos that I've done, I've learned two things, two general rules that I'm going by loosely, because I know that my audience doesn't necessarily speak for every Xbox fan out there or every fan of video games out there. But generally, whenever I make a video about Steam on Xbox consoles, it does really well. On the flip side, whenever I do a video about an Xbox handheld, whether it's the first party one or the partnered one that they're doing with Asus, doesn't seem like a lot of people care about that. Not nearly as much as the Steam box stuff. People seem to be pretty hyped about the idea of being able to access Steam on an Xbox console. And for good reason too. As a customer, as a fan of video games, that sounds dope. How many times have you, as an Xbox only player, Xbox console owner, how many times have you been in a situation where you've seen a game, whether you saw a trailer or you saw one of your favorite streamers or content creators playing it and thought to yourself, damn, that looks really good. That looks like a really fun game, man. I really want to jump in on that game, only to find out that it wasn't on Xbox. Sure, that's bound to happen. Oh, this game's only on PlayStation. Oh, this game's only on Nintendo. But I bet you that there's been at least one time, especially if you're an Xbox owner, where you've seen a game, you thought it was cool, you've looked it up, only to find that you can only play it on Steam or PC. Imagine a world where you didn't have to deal with that anymore. Imagine you could buy a console that could give you access to all of your Xbox games that you've accumulated over these past couple console generations, on top of giving you access to games you would only find on Steam. I can already see the comments, because the reality is that there are a lot of devices that allow you to do just that, especially now that Xbox is putting their games on all sorts of platforms, including PC, the day they release. You can totally build a gaming PC to do just that. But what if you didn't want to play your games at a desk with a mouse and keyboard? What if you wanted that same experience, Xbox and Steam games on the same device but plugged into your TV, you chill on the couch with your controller like you would with the console? Well, there's already some devices, some hardware out there right now where you can do just that, and I happen to have one of them. This is my ROG Ally with a Z1 Extreme processor made by Asus. And yes, technically it is a gaming PC handheld, but paired up with this cheap JSAX dock, I could take an HDMI cord and plug my Ally into a monitor or my TV. I've spent weeks talking about how cool it would be to have a console that hooks up to my TV that has multiple launchers on it. So I thought to myself, instead of using my Ally to play games on the go, like at the airport or downstairs on the couch next to my wife while she watches Love Island, I thought, why not take the Ally and plug it into my TV and use it as a console to simulate what it would be like to have a next-gen Xbox that has Xbox games and also Steam on it. And I gotta say, the experience did not disappoint. for the most part. See, about a week or two ago, my friends were like, hey, you should check out this game Enshrouded. A bunch of us are gonna log on and have our own server, and we'd love for you to join. Now, this game is in early access. The developers have plans to bring it to console once the full version releases, but right now it's only on Steam. I downloaded it, I really liked it. I've been playing it on my PC with a mouse and keyboard, of course, but I thought, well, wouldn't it be cool to play it on my couch, even though it's not available on Xbox or PlayStation 5? And sure, maybe it didn't look as crisp, as good as it would on my PC, or if this game was running on my Series X, but it was still pretty damn smooth. And because Windows has the game bar built in, and because it has a compact mode built in, I could use it basically like I would my Xbox Guide on my console. I could be playing the game and then bring up the game bar to go to the Xbox app or launch another game, access my socials, pretty much anything I can do on my Series X right now. And then some, like monitoring the real-time performance, the GPU usage, the CPU usage, the ability to go from playing a Steam-only game like Enshrouded, and then quit out of that to play games like the Oblivion Remaster or Neon White, which is what I have currently on my Ally. I was like, okay, I'm really starting to see the vision now. In many ways, I kind of prefer navigating the Xbox PC app with my controller on my TV versus the dashboard on my Series X, because I have a pretty decent organization system with like half the ads and crap. For example, if I wanted to access cloud gaming or stream a game to my Ally versus downloading it, on the PC app, they have a separate tab for that. They literally have a collection of cloud games that you can stream, and it'll list the ones that you own, like this copy of The Witcher 3 that I bought 10 years ago. If I wanted to stream a game on my Series X, I would have to go find it on the Microsoft Store or go find it on the Game Pass library, and then look for the ones that are like tagged with the cloud gaming symbol. There's not a million different ways to access the store. It's just the games that you have installed, the games that you could install, the games that you can stream, just the necessities, not like, oh, here's some entertainment for you. What movies do you want to watch? Just about the games, which I love. I also have full Discord support on my Ally, so that was really cool. Don't get me wrong, Discord support on my Series X, it's pretty dang good, but I don't have the full suite of features that I would have on the desktop version. As cool as this was though, as much as I enjoyed it, this whole experience was not without its setbacks. There were a lot of annoying things that really just made me wish that Microsoft would make all these rumors a reality, a Series X2 that could also run Steam. The first major obstacle I ran into, I set up my Ally, I put it on the dock, power source, HDMI in, all of that, and then when I booted it up, I was hit with the Windows sign-in screen, and you can't bring up the freaking keyboard with your controller in order to put in your PIN and get past this. So I had to take it off the HDMI, put in my PIN, and there is a setting in Windows you can set it to where you don't have to sign in constantly every time you boot up your device. I went ahead and clicked that, so anytime I woke up my Ally or turned it on fully, I would be able to just go straight to the desktop. And once I was there, I would be able to bring up the game bar with the Xbox Guide button, and from there it was very simple to navigate. I can go, hit the game bar, then go to the Xbox app, hit the game bar, open up Steam, except Steam, whenever it's in big picture mode, for some reason, big picture mode does not play nice with the Xbox game bar. So in order to activate the Xbox game bar, if I was in Steam big picture mode, I would either have to turn it off or shut down Steam entirely before I can use the game bar again. Now, console owners, whenever we bring up the guide on our Xbox, when we switch to another application or switch to another game, it's seamless, it's straightforward. The game that you're currently playing is suspended, and then the other application launches. On the Ally, that is not the case. If you're playing a game like Enshrouded and then you try to open up another game, it will attempt to run the games at the same time, which is insane. Way too much for a little handheld gaming PC. So every time you switch to another application or game, you gotta make sure the game that you're playing is fully shut down, quit to desktop type situation. The keyboard functionality on this thing is just it's all over the place, because sometimes, like when I'm entering the password to go into the server that I have on Enshrouded, sometimes the keyboard will pop up, you're able to use your controller to navigate that on-screen keyboard and do what you need to do. Other times it does not. But these are all minor things that Xbox could totally figure out. Give us a device, whether it's a console or a handheld, that can seamlessly transition between Steam games and Xbox games. A device that runs not just like on a tiny version of Windows, but has out the box like an Xbox Windows gaming OS. And don't get me wrong, the Ally that I have, it runs games pretty well on like medium medium to low settings. So imagine being able to do all of this, but with the power of a flagship console from Microsoft. Another drawback to this whole configuration is that, well, I don't have access to my full Xbox library, only the ones that are supported by Xbox Play Anywhere, which is cool in and of itself. I'm like, okay, if I wanted to play Wolong Fallen Dynasty, it's not on Xbox Game Pass, I could still play it on my Ally on my TV if I really wanted to, because through Play Anywhere, I own the console version and the Windows version. If they want people to take this next Xbox seriously, yeah, Steam is cool and all, but they have to find a way in order to give people access to their existing Xbox library. We know there's a whole team dedicated to that, led by Sarah Bond. So I would be shocked if they release a new Xbox and they were like, oh, by the way, ooh, you can only play PC games on this thing. All of your library is not compatible with this new console that we just put out. I don't know if that's through emulation or something else, expanding the Play Anywhere library, but they have to make it to where your entire library, not just some of it, is compatible with this new console. You may be able to bring some new customers in by putting Steam on an Xbox, but the only way you're gonna bring along the people, the day ones, the hardcore fans, the existing console owners, is if you do just that. Now, there are a lot of questions. Why would Xbox do this? Why would Xbox invite competing storefronts onto its own hardware? It makes no sense, because they'd get less money if people decided to buy their games through Steam versus the Microsoft Store. And that's not a bad point to bring up, but it is already happening. And the whole they'll make 30% less money because that 30% is going to Valve or PlayStation or Nintendo, they don't seem to care about that. That hasn't slowed down their plans at all, especially with the multi-platform stuff. They're still bringing a boatload of games to PlayStation and also the Switch too, even though they're getting that lesser cut. They're still putting their games on Steam, even though they're trying to compete in the PC gaming space. They're doing all of that knowing that they're gonna get less money. But as long as Xbox can support and push Game Pass, it doesn't matter what device, whether someone else manufactures it or themselves. If there's even a chance that they can expose you to Xbox published games, they're gonna take it. The console gaming market may not be the focus, but it's still an option, and Xbox is gonna cast as wide of a net as they possibly can. If Microsoft puts out this next-gen Xbox and it's a PC console hybrid that has multiple storefronts on it, there's a good chance that people will be like, dope, that is cool, I wanna buy it. And once they buy it, Xbox can push Game Pass, they can try to woo them over to the Microsoft Store, much like they're doing with PC gaming in general right now. And just because people might not buy the games through the right storefront or the storefront that you want, that's not stopping people like Asus and Lenovo and all sorts of other people from pushing out hardware that can support multiple storefronts. I think the question shouldn't be, why would Xbox do this? What do they have to gain out of it? I don't know, what do they have to gain by giving up all of their exclusives? No, the bigger question right now, if you're pumped about this idea, if you want to see Steam on Xbox, what you should be worried about if you want this to happen, if you want Steam on Xbox, you're excited about it, is this whole fiasco that just happened where it was discovered that games just simply run better on SteamOS than they do on Windows, especially on handhelds. That's the key to all of this. We know that Xbox, they paused their efforts on this first-party handheld because of that situation. They wanted to focus more on optimizing games to run better on Windows. You have to imagine that that whole situation is also a factor in their plans for the Series X successor, if it's indeed going to be half PC, half console. Just like the Ally made me want a first-party Xbox handheld, it's now making me really want the Steam box to be true. It's almost there. The proof of concept exists. This is something that people want, and Microsoft has the resources and the knowledge to make this thing a reality. We can get something close to it with the Xbox Asus partnered handheld that they're working on, Project Kennen, but a lot of it is gonna come down to that operating system, that Xbox Windows Flow. Maybe they've already figured it out. Maybe they're gonna reveal it this Sunday at the Xbox Showcase. After the show is done, Xbox has invited me and a lot of other press members to check out some things that they're working on. Maybe I'll be back after Sunday to tell you all about it. And if you're into that, if you're into this potential future where Xbox blends the lines between console and PC gaming, make sure you subscribe because I'm gonna be talking all about it. Anyways, guys, that's all the Xbox stuff I have to talk about today. Thanks so much for joining me for another edition of Xbox Ready. If you made it this far into the video, consider subscribing. Help me on my journey to 200,000 subs. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.